Okay, to make pizza bases, super easy. We need to start, first step, we've got instant dried yeast. We've got 14 grams of that in the bowl. We're going to add 10 grams of castor sugar and just mix that quickly through there. Now we're going to add to this 650 mils of lukewarm water. Just use your fork to stir that around. Just try and stir those clumps out. And you're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, just till it gets frothy and foamy up the top. After 10 minutes, your mixture should be bubbly and foamy. You can use your fork to see if this is so. Add 10 grams of sea salt to 1 kilogram of strong baker's flour and mix it through. Now you can do this on a bench, but because we've got quite a lot of flour, it's probably better to do it in a bowl. Now we're going to add our previous yeast mixture that's risen and fermented. So put that in there. Now I use a fork at the beginning just to stir the middle, get some of that flour mixture through there, and then get your hands in, which is what we're going to do next. Okay, so put down that fork and use your hands. And when it all comes together, we can pop it onto the bench. Okay, so that's all come together. I'm going to tip that out now onto bench, which is flour it quite generously. And have a bowl of strong baker's flour just to the side, because you're going to be kneading a lot of flour, and because we're going to be kneading this dough now. Now this is probably the hardest bit of making pizzas, which isn't that hard. It's just a matter of getting some of those muscles, using your muscle power. And how I knead is, how I knead dough, pizza dough, is I use my left hand and I just use my palm to roll or rub against the bench, and then I take it over to the right and I do the same, and then I turn it over, I turn the dough over, and always keep adding flour. Okay, I've just been kneading for about 6 minutes and it's starting to get a soft, smooth dough. I'll rip some off so you can. It still needs a little bit more work, but you can see it's that sort of elasticy stretch now. It's not tearing as bad as it was before. You can see it's sort of, it's still sort of staying together and like a bit of a trampoline, but we'll knead it for maybe another 2 minutes, and then we're going to let this rest in a bowl for half an hour. Place dough in a lightly floured bowl. So I've just cling wrapped that. I'm going to put a tea towel over it. I'm just going to sit it in a dark corner of the kitchen for about half an hour until it doubles in size.
Prepare your baking trays. I'm using rectangle and round trays here. Just brush the top with olive oil and then cut your rested dough into 5 to 6 pieces depending on how many pizzas you want to make.
And on this is strong baker's flour, and it's always, if you have your dough in the shape of whatever tray you're going to do, it's always going to be easier to get it to that shape. So keep using the flour. Flours are important for pizza doughs to help spread. And with this one, I roll back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until I get the shape that you want.
Place your rolled pizza dough onto your prepared baking tray and fit it into place. Once all dough has been rolled out, allow it to rest on trays for 10 to 15 minutes.
So the pizza base has been sitting on top of the oven for 15 minutes now, and it's risen a little bit, which is great. Now we're just going to spread some of the pizza sauce that we made earlier. It's cooled down, so just pop that over the top. Make sure that your oven has been preheating at 220 degrees Celsius. So this is the pizza base that's been in the oven at 220 degrees for 10 minutes. The first 5 minutes I've cooked it and then taken it out and just turned the tray around and put it on a different shelf for another 5 minutes, so 10 minutes in total. Now you can put toppings on this and put it back in the oven at about 200 degrees just to cook the toppings, or you can just freeze this, wrap it up in Glad wrap and put it in the freezer for 3 months until you're ready to use it. So you can do a whole heap of these and just freeze them for the nights that you need it.